So let's start off with a definition of cloud computing. Now, this is from VMware, who's one of the largest cloud computing software companies in the world. They say that cloud computing is an approach to computing that leverages an efficient pooling of an on-demand, self-managed virtual infrastructure. So let's break this down for a second. So you're using a virtual infrastructure, and if you're not familiar with virtualization, that's okay, because we'll be talking about how it relates to cloud computing in a little bit. But virtualization, just think of it as a layer of software on top of physical servers that make those servers more efficient. So you've got a data center with servers, you've got a virtual infrastructure software layer on top, and then you're using something on top called cloud computing, let's say, that's going to help you to pool those resources, allow them to be available on demand to the business that needs them or the person that needs them when they need them, and it's all going to be self-managed. So that person or that business can create their own virtual data centers and virtual machines and applications and scale it out to as many end users as they want whenever they need to, and they're only going to pay for whatever they use. So this is commonly infrastructure as a service cloud computing, but many of the words here that we're using to define it are the same no matter what type of cloud computing you're talking about. The pooling, the use of virtualization, on demand, self-managed, all these things relate to really any form of cloud computing. I believe VMware was talking about infrastructure cloud computing here with this definition, but again, the terms are very similar. So that's just one definition of cloud computing, and this one happens to be from VMware. Let's try to define cloud computing a little bit more. Cloud computing actually abstracts the business services from the underlying complex IT infrastructure. So if we think about that, you've got this big data center, or your service provider has a big data center. It's a complex IT infrastructure. The business, they really don't care about how complex it is, what's in the data center, the speeds and feeds of the servers and the storage and the network. They just want to do their business. They want to use the applications they need to service their customers and make money. So cloud computing takes away the complexities of the underlying infrastructure and gives the business the services that they need. Now, it uses virtualization and a pool of virtualized resources to do it. The business can consume those services and those applications on demand whenever they need to, however much they need to, just like a utility. For example, you don't go out and buy your own, power plant. You don't buy a huge block of, kilowatts of electricity from the electric company. You just pay for however many kilowatts or whatever unit it's measured in. You just pay for however much electricity you use, right? It's a great way to consume that type of utility because there's no commitment. You just pay for whatever electricity you use, just like you pay for whatever water you use. Or let's say you, for example, rented a car, you might pay for however many miles you drive. So these are forms of utility services, and cloud computing is very similar in the sense that you're going to pay for whatever you use. You're going to pay by some computing unit, or you might just have a flat rate monthly service so that you can use up to so much. Now, this way, cloud computing is able to give the business and the users what they need when they need it without those people having to worry about the underlying complex IT infrastructure. They don't care when they add 100 new users that 100 new desktops have to be added and rolled out, and software has to be installed, and licenses have to be paid for. All this can be abstracted away from the business, and the business just gets exactly what they need, the applications to service their users or their customers and make money.